Hello and welcome to the Curriculus on a Monk, and today we are back inside our Bannerlord's playthrough. Our Let's Play now is definitely advancing. We've done some pretty awesome stuff since the beginning of this series. So, if you're jumping in now for the very first time, what you need to know is we have created our very own kingdom. We're currently at war with two different nations. We're trying to make sure that our kingdom becomes its own independent empire, paying tax to no man, or at least paying an equivalent, balancing the books, if you will. Once we do manage to achieve that, however, we will start a brand new playthrough doing something somewhen. This has been a really interesting playthrough. We've learned a lot, we've done a lot, and so far we've done it without any real huge losses, which is kind of cool. At the moment, like I said, we are currently at war with two different factions. We do need to start earning a few more war points, because at the end of the day, being at war with multiple nations, no matter how strong you are, probably isn't the best idea. So I need to be earning myself some more war points. I need to put together a war party, so that way we have enough men to run around and have fun. Now, to be fair, sometimes, especially the Empire nations, we are at war, I believe, with the Western Empire, they can put up armies of like 2,000 troops. So it's something we need to pay attention to. As you can see, I'm trying to run away right now because we have a significant number of troops behind us. I have just called some troops together. In fact, I believe these are my parties over here. So we'll have to see if we can organize enough troops to come at me. I can see that there is that party of 185 is slightly ahead of the other party. So I wonder if we can catch them off guard. And actually manage to snag that battle without the main army catching on as well. A little bit of manipulation sometimes is needed in these games. And of course, we still have this game going on sale very regularly. I believe Bannerlords right now, at time of recording, is like 40% on sale. So for any new players that are tuning into this episode, because we're currently covering the game on a console, all of the tips pretty much are 100% usable. We have a lot of videos for this game. The game has changed a tad, but not too much since release. We are waiting for that all-important update, however. But yeah, no, if you're a brand new player to Bannerlords, think about joining the Discord. The link is down in the description. We actually have a very healthy Bannerlords community on the Discord. So, if you fancy some people to talk to, if you're stuck somewhere, we will definitely try and help you. Just having a wee look through the policies, because there's a few policies that I believe could absolutely help me. However, I'm kind of wondering whether it's worth me spending my influence right now. I would like... Influence is a really interesting currency when you own a kingdom, or when you're a part of a kingdom. The more influence you have, the more power you essentially have. And being able to veto wars, because you have high influence as king, is really important. So I kind of feel like I need to save it up a little bit. Although there are definitely some policies I need to pick, especially as I'm close to clan tier 5. Once we get to clan tier 5, there are a few policies that can absolutely help us. We got the jump. I need to actually see if I can target the peoples. There we go, help. And we massively outnumber. I don't see the point in that battle. Obviously, we're going to take all the lords we can as prisoner. Take all the prisoners as well. And of course, that's another thing that tallies up to war score. Prisoners, taking lords as prisoners definitely helps. You've also got raids. Raids seem to be, as in raiding villages, seem to be one of the single best ways to actually get war score. The AI does not like it when their villages are raided. And that does contribute heavily towards them wanting to seek out peace or revenge, depending. So have a look at raids when it comes to you trying to score war score, because it will definitely help. Now, we've already discussed prisoners, and of course just taking the villages, taking the castles, and causing casualties, winning battles. All of that absolutely helps massively. But I think one of the easiest things to do there is to raid the villages. It's something that takes a little bit of your time. And I feel like it's actually one of the easiest things you can do in order to earn that war score. Sometimes winning battles can be really difficult, especially if you're against a bigger, tougher opponent. Sometimes taking castles, again, can be really rather difficult, especially if they've got stocked garrisons. And of course, taking prisoners, you can't do if you can't win a battle. But raiding villages is something you can do regardless of anything. You just got to keep a little eye out on, upcoming armies wanting to get their revenge. I keep going to clan. It's actually in kingdom that I want. I want to readjust my army. I kind of want a bigger army. My brother still hasn't recruited enough troops, unfortunately, in order for me to join him. Or rather, him join myself. And I feel like I may have to recruit from outside my own clan. It's going to cost me a little bit of influence, but long term, it should be worth it. There's some good guys around here. But I kind of need those extra numbers. As you can see, we have a larger army. Could I win the battle with the troops I've got? Well, considering I've got 100 Thane champions, most probably yes. However, I'd really like to only do these battles if I can almost guarantee that I am going to win. Because I don't want to handicap myself. That's another problem of fighting against bigger odds. If something goes wrong for whatever reason, you could accidentally handicap yourself, and then it could be a bigger army around the corner. It's not always too easy to replenish your troops as well, especially when your nation is at war, because of course all your towns, all your villages, they're already going to be drained of troops because the other lords within your kingdom is going to be recruiting as well. Although, looks like we have a few dandies there. So I think a good thing we could do is start actually giving our party members troops. If we do that, it will bolster our ranks, and of course it will just make it a little bit quicker, because of course any lord within your army can't actually replenish its troops because it's in your army under your command. I just removed someone from the army that wasn't actually even joined up with me yet, which is annoying. But yeah, so if we manually fill out those extra troops, it will bolster our army, and of course we'll be then able to run around collecting troops for ourselves. Who is that? They have a huge party. Good little march size on them. That's one good thing about leveling up to clan tier 5. We're going to get that extra boost in march size. But not only ourselves, but any lord that happens to be, you know, with it, a party leader. Okay, so they are now attacking our settlement. They're attacking our town. So time's on now. We need to try and get the numbers for this battle. $650 their numbers are at. Oh, let's try and help him real quick if we can. Helping your fellow lords in battle is a really good way to earn relation with them as well. I actually had someone in a Discord asking, how do you earn relation with lords? Well, that is definitely one of them. Of course, the answer to that question would be missions as well. Donating prisoners, if that lord has a castle, is a really good way to do it. And of course, just releasing them instead of taking them as prisoner after you defeat them in battle. Now, he was close. So we definitely got the numbers now. Only by 30 troops. Only by 30 troops. I'm banking more on the fact that we have more upgraded troops, though. The later into your game you'll get, you'll tend to find that the... Well, that's weird. You'll tend to find that the AI troop count is usually made up of lower tier troops. Therefore, your troops should be significantly higher leveled. I don't know about you, but I typically try to level my troops as and when I can. Obviously, you should be doing it in bulk, but I do try to have as, you know, higher tier army as possible. Moving those that infantry line forward as soon as possible is a good idea. They typically take the longest to move into position. I can see their cavalry units already backing off and retreating. I did do a charge straight away, but straight away again backed off there. I didn't like the look of our army at all. Just trying to control the army within this battlefield, trying to make sure that I move all the individual formations along. And of course, for anyone that doesn't know, I do actually get this on multiple videos. I am, of course, using the directional buttons on the controller in order to, you know, cipher between the different formations that we have. Of course, we only have our infantry, our archers, our cavalry, and of course our mounted archers as well, because we haven't set up any additionals yet. Of course, in the opening scene before you go into a battle, that is where you can make additional formations and squads if you wanted more banners to move, you know, to play around with. Sometimes I quite like having like a personal guard, so like 10 to 20 cavalry units in a separate little group. I find that quite useful sometimes. Again, with your archers, that could also be a really good thing to have two different groups of archers that you can move around and kind of like pincer the enemy into places. It's very, very difficult to do so live on a battlefield. So if you set that up beforehand, much, much better. Get the big sword out. I need to put away the little sword, I think. Just trying to control everyone as best I can. It's really easy to forget about your troops sometimes, especially when, you know, if you're trying to get stuck into battle. But of course, us right now, we had an army as equal size. Yeah, we had the advantage in numbers slightly, but I wouldn't say it was typically massively overnumbered. So we are kind of, you know, 1v1 almost. So we do need to try and make sure that all of our troops are engaging around the same time and no one group kind of gets stuck in without the others too much. Moving the infantry up, making sure that they're covering the archer line is really, really important. I do have a lot of famed champions. They are absolutely an amazing troop, possibly the best troop in the game. I mean, there's an argument to be made there for sure. They can go a long way to destroying the enemy, but you do need to help them out a little bit. Got to admit, the open field battles are my favorite. I like the sieges, the siege battles. I do enjoy those. I actually quite like defending them. I find defending them quite fun. You can rack up some mad kills when you're defending. But on a whole, I really feel like it's the open field battles that I enjoy the most. Bit more freedom. Playing around with the cavalry is quite fun. I think one thing that Bannerlords has to be commended for really is the uniqueness that the battlefields have, that the castles themselves have. So much detail's gone into it. It's quite nice. I think we've more than hit the turning point with it in this battle. We've got a lot of kills in place and enemy numbers are most definitely dwindling. Should pick up some decent loot for this. Also should pick up some decent renown. I believe we only need 200 renown in order to make it to clan tier 5. So I'm expecting a good a good amount from this, between probably 30 or 60 round, I would imagine. That's a good chunk. Battles are a great way to earn renown. I remember, like, when you very first start playing your clan tier 0 and you want to do that grind to get your clan tier up quickly, it can feel like an absolute long, you know, mission. And it is, but battles are certainly the way to go. Get ourselves a couple of kills. I believe we're on one-handed sword though, because we're using the two-handed as a one-handed, so it's getting us one-handed points, not two-handed points, I believe. Does remind me I need to do a bit of smithing in an episode or two coming up. We need a bit more money. I believe we are over 1 million, but it's not going to be too long before we go back under 1 million. And of course, if we want to recruit more clans, then it's going to cost us more money at the moment too. There we go, nice little victory there. We did get 40 renown, that's not too bad. We've got a good amount of influence as well. Of course, we've got that all-important morale hike. Morale is definitely something to pay attention to. If your morale's too low, your troops will just flee on battle, which isn't good at all. But winning battles, of course, restores that morale. Did get some troops, don't need them, but we can always give them to the garrison or give them to one or two of our party members. Same with the prisoners. Even if we're over, we were going to take them, because look how close we are to our city. Just literally dump them in the tavern. A good way to earn money, good way to earn roguery, although I believe I need more points into roguery if we need to level up that at all. Can't donate prisoners, they are full. Well, that's problematic. I'm quite happy that we actually took out all those numbers. That's 2 big battles essentially we've won within this episode right now. They were 2 armies that were marching towards us, trying to do trouble, and we effectively destroyed both the armies without them actually doing anything. You know, that's what, 800 troops there that we actually managed to kill, which is pretty happy. Pretty good. To be fair, that kingdom have had a lot of losses. I'm actually surprised that we haven't had any form of peace offer granted just yet. I am hoping it will happen soon, because it is the oldest war that we've got on the books. Now, as I said earlier, filling out your party's troops is a really good way to help effectively bolster your army size, because when they're recruited, they cannot recruit troops into their army. And of course, if you just leave them running around, the idea is they, you know, look after their armies and recruit troops, but troops are hard to find at times. So if you just do it manually, that's a really good way to ensure that you're then running around with a decent sized army. Ideally, I would like to be running around in my army from my clan, because that costs me absolutely nothing in influence. And of course, with 4 party members currently, that's a good amount of, that's a good army size really to be helping with. So yeah, if I can help them out and bolster them, that's a really good idea. I do actually get a few comments within my videos talking about how their lords aren't recruiting, they're not getting enough troops together, even in order to create an army in the first place. Sometimes, and you have to understand that that's because you're at war. Some people play this game where they're at war all the time, that there's never any kind of time of peace. Whenever there is a vote for war, it's always automatically, a go for war, which is great and a good idea. Sure, you're going to be getting a lot of land from that, probably a lot of money as well, lots of action too. But if your kingdom's always at war, then where are they going to be, getting those troops from? This is a living economy game, and your towns being able to supply you troops is, again, another economy that needs to be managed. So as we scored war score against one kingdom, we kind of need to be focusing on the other kingdom now too. So taking castles is a great way to do that. Obviously, we have clan members. We have clans in our kingdom that have currently no land whatsoever. When it comes to your kingdom, strongly recommend trying to make a balanced kingdom as possible. That does mean every single lord owning a piece of land. If they own land, they'd be quite happy to stay in your kingdom regardless of what's happening. And if they don't, then there is obviously a chance that they will deflect and leave your kingdom. So we're going to move that trebuchet into the reserves. That way it doesn't get targeted by the catapults. As soon as it's built, pause the game again. And again, move it into your reserves. That way, when you've got all four built, you can pop them all out at the same time. Your trebuchets will fire significantly quicker, deal more damage than the catapults will in, wherever you're attacking from. Obviously, having a good engineer is a really good idea as well within your clan. Helps speed it up quite significantly, actually. $746 versus 183, though. This is quite an easy battle. I do think the easiest way to take a castle doesn't have to be, the absolute way, but the easiest way is to crack the walls and just walk straight in. The downside of that, though, of course, is that the castle that you are taking over, that you're giving to whoever you're giving to, is going to have cracked walls, and it's going to take time for them to repair those walls. It's going to take time to repair the castles, so keep that in mind. And if you're not going to take the castle out through skill, then it is the easiest way, just to, get a bigger army, crack the walls, and just go straight in. That's a very, very hard to defend against. Oh, a catapult just hit our troops, taking out a ton. Not helpful. And again, we had another catapult hit our troops, taking out a ton as well. That's unfortunate. I always find it strange that we're the only one on horseback. I think, especially if we crack the walls, we should have the option to have our mounted cavalry to remain on horseback, because that would be one hell of a overpowered move, wouldn't it, to move like 20 mounted troops through here. I was hoping to get around the back, around the side, but unfortunately that's a no. We can, however, take out all of their archers, though. I mean, it's a pitiful excuse for an archer line, but... there we go, all done. Got ourselves a few little kills then, too. That was a very easy little battle. Oh, well, we absolutely had the numbers then. I don't think it would have been a difficult battle regardless. Although you can defend, as in you personally, not the AI, very well with very, very low numbers on a castle. Obviously, we cracked the wall, so we literally just marched straight in. I would always recommend actually playing out these battles though, rather than simulating them. When you simulate these kind of battles, when it comes to castles and towns, you do lose way too many numbers. I swear this is like the last guy. And there we go, battle 1. Well, guys, that is the end of this episode. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, found it entertaining. If you did, or maybe you learned something, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Think about joining the Discord. The link is down in the description. But until next time, I've been a monk, been a Kudos, and I will see you in the next episode real soon. Until then, take it easy and happy gaming.